Hey, welcome to the Rad DudeCast. My name is Brendan Ayer. I'm joined as always by the one, the only G-Man, Greg Stone. Yep. What's up?
Oh, I'm changing my name, I think. I want to get you guys to note on that at some point. I'm going to change my name to Greg Stone Corluzzo, I think.
Okay.
I think I want to use my real name.
Hyphen or no hyphen?
I don't know how that works.
Well, you've got a hyphen in there, so that's going to be a hyphen. I love it. And of course, back in Carolina Blue, it's Anthony, the D-Man DeVito. What's up, Anthony?
I don't know. I'll probably change my name to Greg or Anthony DeVito Carluzzo as well. I think the longer the better is what you want in show business.
Real quick before I kick it to Anthony to introduce the topics of today's podcast. The Rad DudeCast is just three comedians kicking around ideas, the thoughts of the day, the big things that are going on. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like the show, go to patreon.com/Rad DudeCast for tons of bonus, awesome content. Greg brought up the great idea. Take your stimulus check, pay for the full year. You can pay for the full year up front. You can get in that $15 tier. That's $180, no problem. And then for you $10 and $15 subscribers, this Friday, Friday the 19th, we will be doing the live episode at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. The last one was so fucking fun. Anthony, tell them what we're doing today.
Oh, man, I am very, very excited for everyone to hear about the Greg Stone internship program. And then also Greg has another story, which I feel privileged to already have information about. So, yeah, man, I'll just let Greg take it.
Well, yeah. Well, it starts with an ad, which is this is an advertisement for everyone to join the Greg Stone internship. All right. I've started an internship and I'm trying. I'm going to get people college credit. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm looking into getting college credit. That being said, everyone in the internship so far is 30 to 40 years old.
Yeah.
And out of college for about 10 years.
And also, Greg has never graduated college.
Nope. The college credit's for me. The college credit is so that I can have some college credit.
Right.
So let me ask you, because Anthony knows a little bit about this. I don't know anything about this.
Yeah. Please.
How did this start? Tell me what the fuck is going on
through everything.
I'm going to walk you through I'm not even going to joke it up. I will walk you through what really happened, which was I was sitting at a table having a panic attack because I couldn't get any of my work done. And I just said, I just need help. And I went, you know what? I'm going to get an intern. I'm going to do it. I know we had talked in the past about getting interns, and it was very much like, no, because you can't pay them. And then I just thought about every other person who does an internship. They get abused. And I said, as long as I don't abuse the interns, I think I'm all right. So I said, I'm going to get some interns. So I put up a post, and a bunch of people said they would do it, and then I ignored it for about a month.
Hold on, because I'm so intrigued by the details here, and I hate to be the interviewer that interrupts.
No, go ahead.
But what exactly? Give me exactly the content of the post. How did you pitch this thing?
I'd have to look, but I believe the post is the Rad DudeCast, and I think it just said, "Hey, does anybody want to be an intern?" or something like that. And then a bunch of I did not expect anyone to say yes or even like the post.
Yeah, I think Greg kind of put it as like Greg is now accepting interns. Like the idea being that like finally, like people have been waiting with bated breath for maybe one day a Greg Stone internship to appear. So I think that's kind of how it was marketed.
Finally, a position a previous intern has died, and there is an opening.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
So then I got about, I'd say 5 or 6 people who were like, hell yeah. I even got a few messages that were like, dude, I really would do this. And I went, well, oh boy.
And this is your classic Greg project, which is what? Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You tell me. Because go ahead. Say what you said.
And yeah, you'll probably take umbrage with this, but
I am about to, because I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, but this is what I love about you, and I think this is what makes you so special, is your classic Greg, completely ambitious, full throttle project, and then the project happens, and Greg goes, fuck.
I'd love when you say, this is what I love about you, and then deliver an insult. Because you said this to me yesterday. You go 1,000,000% in, and then you get bored immediately.
Not bored.
Not boredom.
Overwhelmed, and then go, I have to do this thing now. How am I going to do this thing?
So, yes and no. Well, so I was like, all right. So a bunch of people said they were going to do it. And I was like, all right, let's get a group text. And I got a group text going. And then there's about 10 people in the group text. I got about 10 interns. And I can't tell. So I was like, well, I got to interview these people now. First of all, one person said it. Beggar said he would do it. So I was like, all right, you're in. Started talking to him. But then about 9 other people said they would do it. And Beggar, when he said he would, I was like, he wants to do comedy. So I was like, well, I'll talk to you every Sunday about we'll do comedy class where I can tell you everything I know about comedy. I can't tell you how to become famous. I can only ever tell you how to be me, which is not great. You know, it's like I'm funny, but not famous. Artistic, great. You know, like weird. Anyway, so we had that. It went really well. And I was like, maybe other people would want to be into this. Here's the problem. Out of the other 10, I think only one other person wants to do comedy. So the intern part starts to become like, well, I don't know what to give you then, because I don't have enough money to be paying all of you. And if I'm going to interview people, I can't say no to anyone. So you're all in now. You're just anyone who wants to be in is in.
This is what I love so far. Let me tell you what I love so far is that first of all, I think there's nothing wrong with this. I think there's people far less qualified than you that have interns in the business world. But what I love is that like Tim Cook, Jeff Bezos, 1 intern, maybe 2. Greg Stone, 10 interns, 10 unpaid interns.
You apply,
10 is no longer an intern. That's a staff. You have a staff.
Yeah.
I have a staff.
Yeah. You have an unpaid staff that are getting college credit in a field they do not care to be in. Only
I
one
cannot
guy.
promise college credit.
Yeah.
Trying.
Only one guy is like, well, I'll do this because I want to become a comedian. There's 9 other people just going, I'll help Greg out.
I'm bored at work and I like this guy.
Yeah.
It's really what it is.
So
Seems
keep going. So what? So you get them all. You're
we're all in the
talking
group
them all.
text. We're in the group text. And now
text is
we're in the group text. And I will
unbelievable.
tell you, my worry was, man, this could become a cult. And let me tell you, it immediately became a cult. I'm not even saying like, I want to say the water was turned on slowly. It was, everyone just jumped in and went, you're our king. What does the king want? And like, it's comedic, but it's also like, man, I am hey, we're all joking in this group text, but I am afraid of power. I am. So I keep trying to I said, look, guys, no sex stuff. And then they all start saying, well, I don't know if I want to be in this cult if there's no sex stuff. Right. And I said, no sex stuff. So far, no one's dropped out. Right. Fine. So I think our move is we are just no one ever just comes out and says, hey, this is a cult.
Right.
So I think the internship program is we're going to stop calling it an internship. We're just going to call it a cult. And you're in the cult, right? But we're not going to have the sex stuff. You can have sex, but you don't have to have sex with me. I'm married. I'm happy. And you're not forced to have sex with any of the captains or the higher ranking members, which I don't know how I'm going to start divvying that out. I'm too sensitive to start saying you're a high ranking member.
I guarantee you make yourself a low ranking member to appease people.
Yeah. The ultimate cult leader move. Hey, I'm just one of the low guys. Nothing special about me. Sure, you gotta say my name between every bite of food, but I'm just a peon like everyone else.
I'm trying to get ahead just like you.
Me and David Koresh.
But I am still trying to maintain the internship idea. Because here's the thing. Right. I don't want to take advantage of anybody. So I keep trying to shoehorn in these lessons that they're getting or something that they're getting in return for just helping me. Right. But I think those are the boring parts. Right. I think that's where everyone kind of tunes out when I'm just in the middle of a group text, I go, you got to live every moment. If I can teach you anything, live every moment.
Because you want to get people to have some value out of this.
Some value.
You're throwing in ways to live. Nowhere for these people.
They don't want to be the comedian. They're just going to become me as a person.
I know, but the value in an internship is the experience of the work. So like whatever they're helping you with, they're going to learn from that. You don't have to like bonus on top of that.
That's
like
what this is great.
Like never get into a land war in Asia. You know what I mean? Like they're getting what you get from an internship, which is helping you with the projects and learning on that stuff. And if they do agree to that, there's nothing wrong with that. Like they are getting but you don't have to also tell them like the importance of water.
Right. Everyone stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Lesson one: everyone stay hydrated, and everyone do their lab. Everyone has to do 10 jumping jacks before you come into the meeting.
Who made their bed today? Who made their bed today?
Not only have they agreed to an internship, they've agreed to a cult. You have these people. You don't. They've openly signed a contract to agree to a cult, which, by the way, part of the reason you only agree to a cult is for some of the sex stuff. And you've said there'll be none of that.
No sex stuff.
Right. So these people have, can I say, now the other trope of cults, the largest to me is the uniforms. Are you doing that with the cult, or is it just your basic cult stuff? Or are you like, the uniform is me, so dress like I do or look like I do?
Well, I did similar. I mean, the first meeting, I told everyone, you need to come in business attire. I told everyone they need to come in business attire to the Zoom meeting. Yes.
Okay.
Brendan.
That was going to be my question.
I said, you're going to come to the business
Zoom meeting. Okay. You're holding a Zoom meeting right away.
All your meeting with the interns. Yes. Yeah. No one had a tie. I was the only one in a tie and a suit, and I was embarrassed. They made me to look like the fool.
Man, give me the lesson learned for this teacher.
Give me the rundown. How does this meeting start? Me and Anthony are your interns. How does this meeting start?
How does it go from group text to the meeting?
So the group text, I say, everyone, 8:00 Sunday, we're doing our meeting. We're doing our internship meeting. And a bunch of people go, can I be high? And I stop telling everyone, no, you can't. This is a business meeting. This is business. You want to get high at the end? We'll do that. We'll save it for the end, and then we'll get high at the end. But no being high for this.
Cannot get high. I love that's the first step.
Yeah. Look, man, I'm going to drive these guys hard. Work hard, play hard. You know what I mean?
Hey, man, that's one of the texts you send out.
Yeah. Everyone knows. Work hard, play hard in the internship. Okay? Yeah. So everyone wants – here's the thing, though. Everyone is really into it, and everyone has a lot of ideas, and it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of things to read, a lot of idea, and a lot of things I go like, well, I don't know. I think that's a good idea, but I don't know how to do that. And they're very excited, which is very exciting. And they're all really great human beings. And Helena immediately step up to be like the vice president, right? She just takes everyone's ideas and like writes them down and then tells people this is what I'm thinking. And she's really become my the hand of the king or my consigliere,
right?
You know,
sure.
And then here's another problem I didn't anticipate. So people were like, well, what could we do? And I was like, well, we can maybe edit some videos, you know, so that I can put some videos up. That would be great. Right. What I did not anticipate was how much I hate looking at myself. So Beggar sends me a video about a joke from my old stand-up, from an old stand-up thing. And it was me doing the cunt joke. And I was like, God, this is not good. And I hate this joke. But I have to then go, well, if he thought it was funny, maybe that was good. But I'm like, I don't know if I can put this thing online. I hate myself.
You're one of the rare form of cult leader who hates himself.
Yeah,
right.
You usually you have to be a narcissist. Greg can't sign off on his own videos
because a lot of cult meetings are people giving me compliments. I say I need everyone to come up and tell me one thing that's funny about. This is all going to turn into. Sorry, Brendan, I will get right to you. This is all going to turn into what I really need is a group of people who will make me feel good about myself on Sunday nights.
I would argue with Anthony there. I do think most cult leaders are probably egomaniacs with self-esteem problems. In other words, I do think a lot of them probably have some self-doubt, self-hatred, but they are also narcissistic, as all three of us are. So I think they start a cult to be loved, right? Or an internship program, whatever you want to call it. It's to be loved by a group. Like they need that love. They need that.
Yes. As a leader, I can speak to that and say it's exactly what I need and I'm hoping for.
Can I also speak to the speed at which this thing is traveling in a short amount of time? Yeah. It's gone from text thread to internship to cult in the span of 2 weeks.
It wasn't 2 weeks. It was one text. Okay. I said, let's get the group text going. And everyone went, this is a cult, right? And I went, Well, I guess and I keep trying to pull it back. An internship, it keeps going to cult. Sorry, right. Anthony, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Okay. So you're at this first meeting. So what's being discussed? You're in your suit and tie. Everybody else is not.
Is high.
What? Yeah, everybody else is high. What is this? What is it like? Roughly like an hour?
Well, it was supposed to be an hour, but we went well into the 2.5 hour mark, as you would know, of course, easily. Sure. I would say that we did. The first meeting was 2.5 hours. The second meeting was 16 minutes, which, like, I don't think I told anyone about the meeting, so then only like 2 people came in.
Walk me through the 2.5 hour
topics of discussion.
Yeah, just give me everything.
I had some things I wanted to discuss on what it would be. What the major things I wanted to express were that, like, you're only in as much as you want to be in, right? Don't put stress or pressure on your life.
Right.
And I also wanted to make clear that I'm not 100% sure I can get people college credit. So I just want to know, it's like, look, I'm aiming for college credit, but our first thing we're going to look into is, can I make this happen?
I love the 100%.
Yeah,
what percent do you think you actually are?
2%. There's a 2% chance I can get us college credit because Luis Gomez got someone college credit.
Yeah.
And Jace, one of the stonemasons, we're called the stonemasons. But I do kind of want to bring us back to the vision. I do think I should get the Visionariums started again because we already have merch, and that takes a lot less out on me.
You might run into trouble if people go back to that episode and find out the tenets of being a Visionarium. I'm almost positive there was a tremendous amount of sex stuff.
But it's a reboot. It's a reboot.
Visionarians were very sex-based. I'd stick with the stonemasons.
Old Testament, New Testament. This is going to be the New Testament of the Visionariums.
I'll give Greg that. You don't see a lot of cults doing a rebranding. The gall to do it is. But Brendan, go ahead.
I would say you've got yourself between a rock and a hard place here because, of course, you reboot the Visionariums. You deal with that was, as we know, a largely sex based cult, but the stonemasons. You might run into some trouble with the Freemasons. A lot of overlap there name-wise. You know what I mean? A lot of overlap name-wise. And those guys, historically secretive and apparently run the world. So, although if they run the world, I don't know why I see their sticker on the back of every Pontiac I see. But that's besides the point.
Yeah, I think it's pretty agreed they've probably fallen off quite a bit from where they were.
Yeah.
But Greg, go ahead. Keep going.
Well, I think I'd like to bring us back into the Visionariums as we already have merch.
Sure.
Which I don't have to redesign new stuff. And also Stonemasons is good, but it's like there's not enough in that name, right?
Well,
like visionary, there's a vision.
I agree with you. There's a lot of pop in Visionariums.
Visionariums.
I assumed. Now I love the Visionariums, but I assumed these were the Grinterns. That's what I thought these guys.
Like Greg.
Yeah, Greg, the Grinterns.
I thought they were the Cora winners.
Not funny, man. That ain't right.
Not funny.
I used to get that a lot when I was a kid.
That's what I mean. You've come to the other side of it. You know what I mean? Mm. You've taken what's been used against you and you turn it into a weapon. I don't know. I think it's fine, but you can hold your stance. I'm not going to argue.
So, no. If I'm giving you the 60 minutes treatment here, which no one asked me to do, you've got a cult/staff of 10 here at your disposal. What are the plans? Where is this going? What is happening?
Oh, I also like to say that I did do a poll in the group that I said, I want everyone to vote. What do you want this to be? Do you want this to be an internship, a cult, or a mafia? Because I was like, maybe I'll make it a new mafia. Maybe we'll do a new mafia. And everyone, I was hoping they would say mafia so I could make them kick up to me, I go like, everyone go out, come up with a scam, then you give me 10% of the scam, right? Will you kick it up to me?
Great. So you're inventing the mafia.
Yes. Right. Reinventing a new mafia. It's a new mafia, right? But no one voted on mafia. I think they saw right through that one. And everyone voted for cult. But I am still going to try to be a good cult leader and give people lessons as well.
It is interesting to me in that no less than 10 to 15 minutes ago, you said, I've done everything I can to keep this an internship and not a cult. And then you freely admit you put a vote to the floor shall this be a cult? And now I will say
people
on
voted
that
cult.
front, cults kick up just the same. Many cults kick up just the same, if not more than the mafia, because of the mafia, they have to be, doing crimes. A cult can just say, you got to pay your dues. You got cult dues.
Right.
The
Do
monthly
internships
dues.
get dues?
Internships do not get dues. No. So,
Good that you've pivoted to a cult in that way.
Yeah.
Another thing too that
Go ahead. No.
the good thing with cults is you can grab like political leaders and stuff like that. Instead of, you don't just have like bakery owners kicking up to you. You can have like real high-end celebrities get into a cult. So I think you have a higher ceiling with a cult, to be honest.
So that's what I got to do. I see last week we had homework. I gave everyone homework, which was everyone had to watch one secret piece of I can't tell you all what some of the homework is because that's,
well, we're not in the internship.
Secret.
It wouldn't be fair.
Right.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be, right? But one piece was everyone must watch one video on the algorithm. And so that they would learn something. So everyone would learn about the algorithm and then also bring something to the internship. And I also think because I gave them homework might be why no one showed up to the second meeting. I think everyone was trying to rush to get that internship video, the algorithm video watched.
What are the goals here? Is it really just to increase your kind of work output? I mean, because I'm intrigued. I find sometimes I could use a hand. Like is that what the end game is here to just kind of help with
two things, two rules?
Yeah,
fame and fortune, and for me only. So, this is the rules. I said, listen, this is what everyone tells. The internship is to make me famous and funny. Famous, not funny, famous and rich. Also, this is not for the Rad DudeCast. So you're not allowed to help anybody else. You're only allowed to help me. I didn't.
If they take those skills and go elsewhere with it? They're not allowed to take
No, if they take those skills and they go, hey, I found this really funny video for Anthony, then I go,
oh, I see.
Well, you better throw it away because this is not for Anthony. Also, the real reason I said that was because I didn't want to loop. There's a thing called the RICO. Okay, it's where if I get arrested for this,
you could go down.
If it's Rad DudeCast, I could bring you guys too. So I was really like a family. I was trying to like sever your ties from this because I don't know where it's going to go. It could end up becoming someone gets kidnapped. Like I don't know what these guys are going to do. They all have a lot of really good ideas, and I'm not reading all of them. So I might just accidentally sign off on something, and then all of a sudden Stephen Duran is bringing back a congressman in a van, and I'm like, what is happening? And he was like, I'm just trying to help. And I go, well, now you got to get rid of the body. Like I don't know.
Yeah. Right. I love that you said kidnapping and then you said they got really good ideas.
I take back none of what I don't think anything I said was wrong. I think kidnapping gets shit done.
I got to thank you for considering the RICO laws with regard to me and Anthony. I appreciate it.
Right. I don't want you guys going down for that. I don't know where this is going.
I'll say, man, if all three of us go to prison because of Greg's internship and then carry on this podcast in prison, that'll do wonders for our career. That'll be the cruel irony of this podcast is if we'll go to prison, we'll have the biggest podcast in the world because we'll be talking about what's going on in the prison,
right?
But we'll never get freedom.
We'll have to. Somebody will have to. One of our girlfriends or wives will have to smuggle it out in their pussy on a micro cassette.
Yeah,
that's the only way you can get a podcast from prison. Because trust me, if there was one, I'd be listening to it. It is banned in prison.
Yeah, Greg, please go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. I'm curious.
Well, I was just going to tell you what this week's meeting was going to be about because I didn't promote this meeting. I just thought it was a standing. I think I want to do it every Sunday at 11 a.m. like church. Like if we're going to be a cult, then I don't want to do 8 p.m. I want to do Sunday church. We're going to do Sunday church. But I got to get everyone's schedule, because there's only 10 people. If 9 of them can't make it, it's just me talking to Dan Double D, one of my great interns who showed up for both.
And he's got a lot of pressure on him.
He's got a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah, he's all the ideas.
Yeah.
Can we go back for a second? What the first meeting? I kind of want to go through like the ins and outs of that first meeting again. Because I don't know if you described like everything that happens in that 2.5 hour meeting.
Yeah, I mean, we open with me talking about what will be the weekly thing that we're working on, which this week, well, I don't remember what it was last week, but this week was buzz, right? So I'll say like, all right, guys, today we're talking about buzz. How can we create buzz, right? I want everyone thinking no idea is a bad idea. I will say this, though. A lot of them are bad ideas, right? That's all right. I'm not gonna be mad
That's
about bad
fine.
ideas.
Yeah,
I got a lot of bad ideas. Right? So I'll say
You're
something
brave
like-
for saying it. Good job.
Right. Like
Totally.
we're talking buzz. What can we do that's buzzworthy? Right. And then people come up with a bunch of crazy things to say. And I go, all right, how can we tweak that? How can we do that? How can I actually do that? Because this, what am I not going to get bored of immediately from?
Right.
And then we'll move into, I will do every 5 minutes, kind of like how you do 10-10 they do weather on the hour.
Yeah.
I do apologies on the 10s. And is this too much on the 10s? Right. I go, hey, I'm so sorry if anyone's offended. And remember, you don't have to do any of this. Right. A lot of those.
I like this. I like that a lot, man. Apologies on the 10, I like a lot because you're constantly reflecting and you're constantly being humbled. I think this is a great idea.
It's the only way to be a good cult leader. I mean, intern program.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what
Tomato.
I think this is
Prison.
Oh, that's what we have to find out. Is being a cult leader illegal inherently?
No. Just the act. There's no law against being a cult leader. As far as I know, there has to be actions that you take as the cult leader or that the cult takes that you're responsible for that are then illegal. There's nothing to say that, because otherwise then what the fuck's the Catholic Church? Right. What are all these things? So I don't inherently a cult I don't think is illegal. But what I think you need to nail down, as far as I can tell, you've got your two types of cults, right? You've got your life improvement cults, and that would be like your.
Well, this is that. It's just my life.
That would be like your Nexiums, your Scientology. Those types of fellas, and then you got your doomsday cults. Your David Koresh.
Oh, I can throw in a doomsday if I need.
Family. What were the fellas? Who were the fellas with the Nikes that cut their dicks off?
Let's hang on if you need it for a second.
Right. Well, if they feel like they're not getting enough out of the cult, I could whip up some. Here's how we're all going to kill ourselves.
Yeah, Jonestown.
You know what I mean? If they need it, they feel like they're being ripped off.
I love that concept. And if you guys feel like you're being ripped off, we'll do a mass suicide. If that'll make you happy.
We'll just plan it for the future.
I always love, and I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before,
awesome.
but I always love the Heaven's Gates guys.
Yes.
Where like they all had those cool, they were those black Nike Cortezes, I think.
Yes, right.
And I always love when it came to the like dick cutting off part, some guy being like, oh, but they are pretty sweet shoes.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think I was going to have to cut my dick off, but I don't want to give these shoes back,
They were castrated.
Yeah, that's right.
I did not know that.
Yeah, you had to cut I think, Mike, is that
well,
true?
none of that here. None of that in the Visionariums. Just want to throw that out there. No one is cutting their dicks off. I may incorporate everyone has to get a blazer. I think we're going to be a blazer cult where everyone wears a blazer. Maybe like a t-shirt underneath.
Like that secret power group in DC, the Family or whatever they are. What's that thing called? You ever see the thing on
I was thinking more of the golf tournament winners. Everyone gets a green jacket.
Oh, the Masters.
That's so funny, man. That's what I for some reason I go, that's exactly what Greg's thinking. He's thinking of the Masters.
Yeah, or like a fancy restaurant where you show up in a shirt and they go, jackets only, people. Yeah. And they give you a jacket. I think everyone should have a blazer.
I love that. I'd do that in my own home if I could. Right. Are you going to have, because a lot of those times they have like an insignia, some kind of a logo. Are you just going to go with the Visionariums logo, or are you going to do your own separate kind of thing?
Well, they don't seem to be sold on the Visionariums part so far. But I don't know. It's not their cult. It's my cult. Right? So like maybe I have to start putting my foot down and being like, we're the Visionariums.
Yeah.
If you don't want to leave, and then they'll go, we're all leaving, and I have no cult again.
That's true. You, as cult leader, that I think you do need to exert some power, but you do need to understand the stakes of what could happen if you exert the power.
Well, that's a funny idea because, like, you only hear about the cults that really took off.
Sure.
How many cults?
That's great.
How many cults in history were just like went along for a couple weeks, and everyone was like, "Nah, man." This is fucking ridiculous.
Legitimately, this cult is going to die from boredom. It's legitimately going to be people go, I just don't want to. That's why I think I got to push the meeting. Maybe we do one meeting a month. Every week seems to be a lot, as we learned on the second week.
I think it is, but it's part of being what a cult leader is. You're learning sort of on the fly. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that 2.5 hours. So you set the goals for what you're going to do. Now, fill that. Where's the space of the 2.5 hours? What's going on the rest of it?
I mean, again, it's mostly apologies. And then
You have apologies on the 10.
apologies on the 10, coming up with business strategies. Hey, what are things? It's very also uncomfortable because when you have a internship / cult about yourself,
Sure.
you have to ask things about yourself, which are very uncomfortable because I was like, hey, look, we do have a goal here. It's to get me famous.
Right.
However, right.
And
so
I love
do
this idea. I love it.
Right. So I do have to say things like, what do you guys like about me? And that's very uncomfortable because then people start being like, well, because they're all nice and they're all like, well, I like when you do this and like when you do that. And I go, all right, but and you want them to be honest. So you don't, but you want to be honest, but you also don't want your feelings hurt. Right. So you don't be like, what do you not like about me? And they say one thing and I go, well, this cult's over and you're all denied. I'm blocking you on Twitter.
I love the idea. The guy says one thing, all of a sudden his camera stops working and he's muted.
Yeah.
And everybody in the Zoom meeting has to see that.
Right.
Well, it's also like, because it's interesting because like what you have created is what a celebrity has. Like they have a team behind
That's what they're going to be.
Right. Except like their team, like, like Channing Tatum's team is like a trained PR guy.
Right.
Your team is like a temp worker at JP Morgan. And so he doesn't know how to talk to you in a way that's like, because those guys know how to be like, I love you, baby. You look beautiful. Here's one thing we could change. I don't want to do it, but what if you used a little hair dye?
Right.
God, it sucks. You'd look better without it, but throw it in there. Your guys are just going to be like, I don't know. You look old. I don't,
right.
I don't know. When your voice gets squeaky, it's funny sometimes.
Yeah.
So here's a thing, right, that I am learning. I don't want to be insulting, but I think it is what it is. And I think we have to grasp what it is in order to make it work. What it is when people have teams, they tend to be people who are trained in skills that they have, right? It's like you hire a marketing guy. What I have is 10 people who are just very passionate, sweet, and will do stuff for free, right? So I need to stop. I need to pivot away from being like, all right, you don't need to come up with comedy ideas and you don't need to come up with marketing ideas. But we do have is 10 people. What can 10 people with no skills do? Right. So now I think we'd be like, all right, all 10 of us, we all put our energy into tweeting at Bert Kreischer, right? Everyone tweet at Bert Kreischer and say, get Greg on your podcast, right? Because that's things that we can actually do. It's kind of like in Three Amigos at the end, amigos, right? Where it's like, what can the town do? And they're like, we can sew. Right. And then they all sew amigo outfits, right? So that's what I need to get. We don't have real abilities, but we are 10 people. So what can 10 people do?
But
right?
Man, and furthermore, first of all, that's true. Second of all, with the Three Amigos thing, you hit on something. What can the town do?
Yeah.
But you need to be asking, because you don't have 10 skillless people. You have 10 people that aren't skilled in what you need them to be. You use what their skills are. Hey, where do you work? Citibank? Right. Guess what? Mm-hmm. Every customer. Have you heard the new Greg Stone album? You know what I mean? Incorporate their skills.
Yes.
So you're using a whole new level of skill. What do you? You work at Starbucks? Guess what? Call new size. It's not a grande. It's a Greg.
Helena.
That kind of thing.
I'm going to speak to Helena right now. You guys shut up. Helena, I want you to listen to what I did. I need you to start. This is a special instruction. Start a spreadsheet and get everyone's skills on that spreadsheet. This way I can look at the skills and incorporate. Now we're talking. Sorry, I had to do a quick Visionariums speak to. Go ahead, Anthony.
Can I also say it's so funny that the number, like in the grand scheme of things, the number is low. Like usually when someone goes like, we may not be skilled, but we've got 1 million people. Right. Greg is like, we've got 10 people. What can 10 people do? It's great.
10 can do more than what I can do, which is nothing.
Right? They've got these other skill sets, which I think is a brilliant.
They have a lot of these. Yeah, here's another caveat to that is Reed has this, like, he knows how to do like special effects. He knows how to like use After Effects. And I'm like, well, that's a skill that I would not want you to do because it's a very highly paid skill. Like it's like, so even some of the skills they're bringing in, it's like someone's like, oh, well, I actually am into marketing. Well, I'm like, well, I feel bad asking you to do any of that because that's real.
This is the best. Yeah. Just an internship / cult leader that is such a good guy. He refuses to use the only useful skills brought to the table. Like these people are wanting to be your interns. You're like, whoa, hold on. I can't have you using your marketing abilities. You get paid for that.
Right.
It's like they fucking signed up to be your intern, man. You got to use that.
Well, my other idea, which I thought, you guys tell me if this was too much, because I was like, I think this must be too much. The other idea I wanted to do was do a weekly daily show type thing. And then the interns are just the people who do the thing. Look, you're not skilled comedy writers, but write 10 jokes. I don't care what they are. Whatever you give me, we'll read, right? Okay, you're the comedy writer, and then you're the producer. You're not a producer. Produce in any way you think you can produce, right? And whatever we create will be the thing. I thought that could be like a really fun idea to be like, you just get 10 people to do a job that none of them have been trained in and just say, just do what you can, like just whatever you can do, we'll do.
I love that you won't accept the skills that they know and are comfortable with, and instead are like, no. After Effects, Reed, the things you know how to do and are probably quick with, I don't think so. I need 15 jokes on Ghislaine Maxwell by 10 p.m.
Yeah. And then you're going, I don't care if they're good. I'm reading them.
Whatever you bring me, I'm doing it. I don't really care, right? And like, I want to be like, hey, look, Jim, or whatever, I don't want to call out some of their names. I don't know who wants to remain private, but I go, you're the new sound guy. Here's the sound equipment, right? Just think, look, you've seen people with holding boom mics before. Just do what you can do, right? Whatever the audio is on the show, to me is hilarious. Like if you can only hear half of it because he got a guy who works at the A&P to be his sound guy. Right. That's funny to me.
That is hilarious.
This is a pitch that 12 years ago Adult Swim would have bought on the spot. Just like, I'm making a show, and the whole staff, writers, producers, cameramen are just 12 people that are in a cult I started and have no applicable skills. And they're like, this is running right after Tim and Eric. Sold.
Yeah. I think you could do this right now. I think you get on Adult Swim. I think you'd be just fine. This is such a funny, you just have to put that in the beginning so people who watch the show know that this is it.
Yeah.
This show is made completely by people who have no idea what they're doing.
10 people who agreed. This show is being made, written, produced by 10 people who've agreed to be in a cult.
And instead of their names on the credits, it's just like lead sound guy. You just list their actual job. So lead sound guy, assistant IT department at Schwartz and Schwartz law firm.
Lead sound guy, parentheses, their real job, and then their name. That's so funny.
And I'll tell you this is a hot note for the cult. If you want to do comedy, don't tell me, because if you tell me you want to do comedy, I'm not putting you in the writer's room. You're the cameraman. I only want
You're getting
a bus driver to be the comedy writer. So and whatever that means, Yeah.
That's so funny. So, all right. So you get your one meeting down, and then the next meeting, the last week's meeting was buzz.
Right. Can I tell them the secret, Anthony, or no?
Oh, yeah, of course. I don't care.
Oh, okay. So it's so funny because Anthony was like, look, I don't want to come to this meeting. I don't want people to know, but I want to watch them. I need to see how this is going. I was dying
to see this thing in action.
So I was like, sure, I'll send you the invite. So I sent him the invite, and immediately he came up as Anthony was in the room with the cameras off. So we both tried to change it at the same time. He changed it to Clark. Why was that?
Clark, because that is one of the I think Matthew Reese in The Americans, one of his aliases as a Russian spy is Clark. So I changed it to Clark.
It's so crazy because immediately everyone in the world goes, yeah, Clark Kent, of course.
That's what I thought.
Instead it's just the Americans.
Yeah.
But I felt like I was doing this spy thing. Yeah. It's cool.
And I changed his name at the exact same time to Greco. So, and here's the problem with being a Rad DudeCast fan is most of them know each other. So as soon as it was on, Helena looks over and goes, who's Greco?
I'll be honest. I was in the middle of folding clothes as I was listening to the listening to the internship. And the minute Helena went, "Who's Greco?" I went, "Shit."
I think I said that. I went, "He's a guy you don't know."
That was the best. Yeah, that's what Greg goes. Yeah, he's some guy you don't know. Get at it. I gotta. Yeah, it was so funny.
Well, I did. I wanted to maintain the integrity of the meeting by not letting people know you were in there.
Yeah.
But I also wanted your input on what some fun things. That was the problem. It's like, okay, this is fun, but I also want Brendan and Anthony's ideas on how we can make this.
Seemed like you wanted mine.
Well, that's what this episode was for. Was to start doing this so we get this all going. And I had just saw Anthony came over yesterday, and we walked down a block, and I started telling him about the internship, and he was laughing, and he was like, I got to get on this meeting. I was like, well, it's tonight. So it was just kind of like a fly by the.
Yeah, it was a pretty spur of the moment kind of thing. And I didn't want anyone. I didn't want anyone to feel foolish or judged in there. I think it's great. And I actually think while I was in the internship, some people really had some great ideas and actually had some. Based on Greg's homework for them to study the algorithm. Yeah. People actually had insights into the algorithm, and I was very impressed by what Greg's interns came up with.
Yeah.
But there was a
real
funny
stuff.
There was a funny moment where Greg alluded to this earlier, but we're like Greg just at some point Greg left. Because his computer stopped.
My computer died. My internet went out.
His computer died. So then it was just Elena and I forget who else was in there. And Elena,
Dan Double D.
Yeah, and he was just like, I think no one showed up because Greg didn't say anything about it. And then Elena went, yeah, he didn't write anything. He just posted one video. Oh, it was so funny. And then both of them had to try to figure out if the meeting was over because Greg wasn't in there anymore. They had no direction going forward. Oh, it was incredible.
I had to get into the group text to tell them. So that's the thing. I think I got to do a WhatsApp because not a lot of people are on Facebook. And I want to tell us also, hey, applications are still out. If you want to be in the Greg Stone internship / cult,
still slots available.
There's still slots available. You know, I mean, if we can get 1 million people, that's all. You know, that could do some stuff, right? We could really get on Doug Loves Movies if I got 1 million people tweeting at Doug. Totally. You know what I mean? But 10 is good. You know, 10 is very manageable. 10 is not manageable. It's way too many people, and it's a lot of people talking at the same time. And me not telling them I don't like that idea, so I just go, "Oh yeah, we'll do everything," and then I get nervous.
I'm super curious as to what would happen. Like, I think you need to go beyond After Dark, go beyond the podcast. I think you need to post this on like job boards. Because I want to see what happens where there's an intern that doesn't know you and is like, whoa, intern for a celebrity? Yes, please. And then let's see what they have to bring to the table. You know what I mean? A guy that doesn't know you, that doesn't know what's happening. I'd like to get their insight into, like, if they are immediately like, what the fuck, I'm out of here? Or if they're like, it's a big opportunity, you know?
Yeah. Well, Greg and I did that. I mean, that reminds me of the Savage Animal. I mean, we've had to have talked about this before.
Yeah, go ahead, talk about it again.
But like when we were going to start the sketch group Savage Animal years ago in Jersey, we put out basically a Craigslist ad to anyone who wanted a job opportunity in like comedy sketch writing. We really made it out to be like this like big thing. And our big thing is we would always, whenever we would email with a person, we would always like delay it a day or just go, I just got in from LA. So hang on, I'm a little frazzled to sell the idea. And then we would meet them in like a Borders bookstore, and like they would be right away. They would be like, "Oh, this is a complete sham." Yeah. But I do remember, like, there was like one guy who was like, "Man, I'm so excited for this," and you know, Greg and I would ask him like standard, just like you know, well, what's your hunger? You know what I mean? Like, what separates you? And then I think one guy was like, "I drove 2 hours to be here," and Greg and I were like, "Shit."
Also, it should be noted that what we did was we had them interview in our attic where where it was the middle of the summer, no air conditioning, where they would walk in and we would shut the windows to let them know you're not getting fresh air for this. No lights on, and we made them wait in our living room where we had someone sitting there who said, "Please sit down, have a bagel." And we had
bagels. We bought bagels for everybody. We had a receptionist sit down, and we would always delay them a little bit because we thought that was like a cool
we'd be
power
upstairs
move.
sitting in the heat. We would be sitting in the heat, making them wait.
Suits.
What listeners who may be newer might not know about Greg and Anthony, which is maybe one of my favorite things about your lives, is that and this goes back to Gus Dakota and what's his sidekick? Sun Tune. Like Greg and Anthony for quite some time were running a comedic sort of lifestyle of sketches and characters that was unrecorded in any way, shape, or form. So they were just doing a real life show and sketches that was not recorded for themselves. That was not recorded. Like they would go be these characters. You just heard the interviews they were running just for their own, like, that was another great show. And it's like, no one saw it, man.
Did we ever tell you about the three-way? Anthony and I went to a TGI Fridays to get a three-way, and we had a clipboard, and we would ask people. We would say, "Hey, listen, we would just like to let you know that we are inviting people to have a three-way with Anthony and I. You can sign up. There's a clipboard. We will let you know there will be free continental breakfast served in the morning." And who was it?
Natalie Merchant.
We played you, Natalie Merchant, and it was
Tiger Lily the whole time.
It's so funny to just imagine you guys in industry meetings like, sorry, we already did our best show. It was
our lives.
It was 12 years ago, unrecorded. It was performance art.
Yep. Greg worked in a hospital. I was in art.
Right. I want to also add that 2 people signed up for the three-way. We got nervous and just ran away.
Yeah, of course.
It should be noted that we were like, oh, they don't know how to live in the unfunny world.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta warn you of this because I know your feelings. I gotta warn you, and hopefully you have more success than me about these people tweeting at podcasts, because something I never asked any of our fans to do that just in their own grace and support of me have done. I'd say, I don't know, 50 of our fans have tweeted at the hilarious world of depression, telling them to have me on. Never have I ever heard of them. And look, I'm not going to go compare different people's depression, but I'm the most depressed they could get. And I'm funny. And there's 50 of our fans and not a goddamn word from these motherfuckers. So be prepared to be ignored because it's horse shit. And all you guys that tweeted at the hilarious world of depression without me asking, I appreciate it, and fuck them. And I'm still sad.
So this is going to sound crazy. Not that it's going to sound ignorant, but it's like Bert Kreischer and those guys, we're all half a step away from them. So to me, what is funny is a million people tweeting at him. And then I do meet him in like 6 months when this is all over. And then him being like, oh, wait a minute, you're like an actual funny guy. And I go, yeah, remember those people who were tweeting at you? That's part of my cult I started. That was only 10 people. I go, oh, your podcast must be huge. No, it's not. It's very small, but I have 10 very loyal
It's medium-sized. It's medium-sized.
Medium-sized.
Yeah, it's a middle-tier podcast, but I have a small, relentless cult. And that's where I'm and you're immediately like, you have something to talk about when you go on these podcasts. You rarely do cult leaders give such open interviews.
Right. And have such low self-esteem. And only have 10 members. I'd like to know what the smallest cult is.
I would tell you right now, I am sure there is a one-man cult. One leader,
that's just a relationship. That's just a bad relationship.
One follower. Yeah. And it's just a bad relationship. It's just a shitty friendship. There's tons of those. I knew guys like that in high school that just had a shitty sidekick that did everything they said.
It goes shitty relationship, Mormon, cult. So you have to have more wives than a Mormon would have.
Right.
More than one, and then Mormons have multiple wives.
Yes.
Right? Is that who that was?
Well, no.
Or Big Love? What was Big Love?
Technically, the official Mormon church now doesn't, but they did.
They practice.
And now the breakaway sects do. The old school sects of them do, but the actual Mormon church now does not embrace that practice.
Great. This idea, are you going to cap it at all just so then people feel like they're getting in on like a limited offer?
3,000.
So let me tell you this. My mind's telling me yes, but my ego's telling me no. What I think, I thought about that question, Anthony, and I will say that how I'm going to handle that is everyone who gets in early, as soon as we start getting like the second layer, everyone in the first layer gets bumped up. Right. Yes. They become gold level members. Okay. Right. Or they get to like, and I'm going to write it in my marble notebook. which I have still with Rad DudeCast points. I'm going to write in my now who the original 10. You become the original 10, and once we get 11, it's like for it to be 10, and then the new guy and the one guy in the new level will just be like everyone can shit on him.
This is really nice and refreshing because a lot of and I want to say this to people considering joining. A lot of pyramid schemes will try and disguise themselves.
Right.
And this is right up front with you. This is what we are. We're a multi-level marketing scheme. You're gonna, you're coming in at the bottom. You can work your way up through Rad DudeCast points or Visionarium points, however you may be. But I find your openness with the cult refreshing.
Yeah, because you know what you're getting into. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you can't say I didn't tell you it wasn't a cult. It was an intern. It isn't. Look, some things are two things, right?
Yeah.
It's an internship and it's a cult, right? If you're just there and you're like if I'm like, all right, who here is gonna bloodlet? And so I go, Larry, and Larry goes, sorry, I'm an intern. And I go, right. Who signed on for the cult part? Okay, so I need some bloodletting from you. Right. Like, the interns are gonna do all the paperwork and like the watching YouTube videos and learning how to do comedy. And the cult people are going to do all the like sex tattoos and, not sex, but all the weird shit.
Dress it all maroon and taint the waters.
Yes. The interns will come in ties and the cults will come in blazers. And that's how I'll know who's who.
Right.
Are you an intern or are you in the cult part? You know what I mean? The cult part's more fun, right? More crazy. The intern thing is about learning lessons and improving your skills and businesses.
Now do both give college credit? And
yes.
We'll go to
well, neither do, but I'm going to try to get everybody college credit.
Okay, great.
And it may be me creating a college.
Man,
I may have to create a college.
This thing just keeps
to give you that
better.
credit.
Because of this internship / cult. You have to create a college for them to get the college credit you promised. I mean, this is just working out beautifully. Brendan, go ahead.
Well, all I was going to say was I'm happy to keep talking about this. I know, Anthony, there was something else you wanted to hit. So if you want to get to that, we can get to that, or we can keep talking about this. I just wanted to throw that out there because there was a subject you wanted to delve into. Either way is fine with me. I'm thrilled with the Visionarians.
Yeah, I mean, I love this. And then there was something else that is Greg related. Like we don't have to do the other thing. We have more than enough time. And I like the other Greg related thing more than like the news article.
Right. So before we move on, I do just want to state something about the cult or internship real quick. That is, to all my Visionariums or stonemasons listening, the Visionariums will be part of the cult. The stonemasons are the interns. This will make sense. It's a two-tier thing.
That works.
That's what we can do. I do think that I want to get some. So we'll have to get somebody on top of the Craigslist ad, right? So I think that we should do an open Craigslist ad to get more interns. And so we'll have to get somebody. So everyone who's listening, who's in it, take notes about some of these ideas. Well, I hope you took notes already, because I think we're going to work these in. We're going to work these things into the I think a lot of great ideas, kind of. And then we could do like a monthly check-in on how the cult / internship is going.
I think a monthly is good. That's manageable.
I mean, on the podcast. Where I can tell you guys,
totally.
How's it going? How's my follower count? How's my follower count? How's Instagram doing? How's the what are those women called? What are the women called? The concubines.
Yeah. I wonder if this is the first sort of cult presented as an internship, or if Charles Manson was like, look, I need you to go kill Roman Polanski's pregnant wife. And the lady's like, what? No, and he's like, do you want the college credit or not? Okay. An internship's an internship.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, right? If we can get to that third level, then I can turn it into a mafia, because once you start people start kicking up to the captains and then everyone kicks up to me. Is it illegal is kick-ups illegal? Or just the mafia part?
The mafia is illegal because they're kicking up money that was gained illegally. There's no rule against, like, I mean, plenty of churches accept donations, and many churches almost require tithing, which is 10% of your income goes to the church. So a suggested monthly donation is certainly not illegal, or if you want to make it a club, dues are definitely not illegal, as long as you're not saying get these via carjacking. Like
Yeah, right.
hang out.
I don't want to make money off them.
Hang out by JFK and steal a truck, and then you owe me 40% of the proceeds. That you got to be careful with.
That's how Fight Club got out of hand.
Yeah,
right. I also want to make it known that all of the money that, if ever there is money collected, will not go into my pocket. Right. It will go into one Instagram ad. So if we get $10,000, we're doing a $10,000 Instagram ad, or donuts and cakes or foods that the interns could then have, or T-shirts, leather jackets, coins. I don't know, all types of swag. Yeah. I want to be swag heavy, but once I start making a lot of money, then I can start getting people real swag. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Can't wait for those days to come. So we can. Yeah, you want to say this thing, and then we could do that story for a little bit. Bang on that. Yeah, tell us that this other thing is great.
Right. So I do want to just give a caveat with this story. I don't remember exactly what was said, so I'm going to make them sound a little bit worse than it probably was because I can't remember the exact things. And the guy, I just want to say, is the guy that did happen to is a great guy, and he's like very funny. And it was not intentional, but it was kind of hilarious. Talking to one of the, I don't want to give his name because I'm going to change. Not going to change the story. I don't remember the exact words that were said.
Let's call him Clark.
We'll call him Clark, right? So I'm talking to Clark about, I forgot what, about he brings up the Patreon, and he was like, man, I just wish you guys were making more on Patreon because, you're so funny. You're such a great podcast. He goes, I just think the reason it is, if we can get those Legion of Skanks fans, it's just like all the Legion of Skanks fans think you're fags. And I went, wait, what? Right? He said something, not exactly those words, but it's kind of those words. And I was like, great. Wait, man, what are you is that the word on the street that we're all cowards or something? He was like, no. And then he tried to fix it, but in turn just got very specific to me. So he was like, no, it's just the last time you were on Real Ass Podcast. Everyone called you unfunny cuck or something. And I was like, wait, really? And I know he didn't mean to do it. So then I had to go on to the episode that I did of the Real Ass Podcast with, it was me and Jacob Williams. And so just a little note on what happened is I always give Lewis shit because I love Lewis, right? I think he's funny and he's crazy and he does crazy things. And he was doing this. So when I was on that podcast a long time ago, I pretty much came up with a segment where we just come up with scams, right? And it's just a scam thing, which he turned into Scam That Jew. And it is what it is, right? Yeah, sure. For me, I just go, look, and the joke I was making to him was it was like, you don't need Jew on the end, right? It's just scam. And I was like trying to make it funny, like scam that dude, do like a Mountain Dew thing, right? Yeah. Because like scam that Jew just makes it doesn't really have anything, there's a better bit there. It doesn't make sense. It
doesn't make sense. Like it would even like, and I'm not, and like if you wanted to be anti-Semitic with it, it would even make more sense to call it Jew scams. Like scam the Jew doesn't even make sense. Like
they're not, what I was trying to say.
They're not known for being a scam to people. Famously unscammed. You know what I mean? They're skeptical of everything. Yeah. If you want exactly what Brandon's saying, if you want to go that route, they're always like, what can be done to me here?
Yes, a bunch of people who are on guard. As per their history. You know what I mean? I'm sure there are people who are
cannot blame them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And so that was the joke that was kind of happening on the podcast. But then it was like literally, I want to say 100 comments of people going, this is why Gas Digital is going down because this unfunny people, this guy is unfunny. He's a coward. He's left wing and woke. Anthony had the greatest line ever, which goes, how many times you got to call Oprah a fat pig before people stop calling you woke?
Yeah. Greg of all people. Greg, the man who's got a meme made of him where he goes, Oprah, that's one fat bitch. They're calling this guy woke. I mean, that's why I was like, I couldn't stop laughing at that idea.
Right. And I also want to make a note, as I'm telling Anthony, so I go into these comments, I'm reading them, and I lose my mind. And I do want to say that I call Anthony, and he is laughing in my face for the 45 minutes. And I want to say, oh, laughing in my face, Mr. I had to put your Colbert online because you didn't want to come that close to reading the comments of your TV special?
Well, I'm laughing at I know the exact world these comments are living in. You know what I mean? And no, I'm not saying, I'm a complete lunatic.
Right.
Oh, happily so. But the world of like a CBS set to me, and I understand it's a world of YouTube comments and that's a devious world, but it's like that could be anyone. But the world who's watching a real ass podcast clip, that's a very specific world. So seeing those people react to you that way was making me laugh. And then also knowing who you are and calling you, of all people, woke, I couldn't get over as fun.
Well, it's also the creme de la creme of the real ass podcast people, because a lot of there were a lot of very positive comments, and I love doing that podcast, and we've gotten a ton of fans from them, right?
I'm
but
not
there
saying
is
anything wrong,
the elite of the real ass podcast fans. Were just like going in on me, and it threw me. Like, I am usually good at like swatting this shit off, right? So I'm talking to that guy online, and he was like, yeah, he's trying to make me feel better, and I just went, yeah, man, I gotta go for a walk.
I love that knee-jerk reaction of that certain element, because you call me too, and I also laughed. I'm like, yeah, dude, like, of course they said that, like that knee-jerk reaction to be like, this guy is trying to say take Jew out. What a cuck. And it's like, what do you mean like, so he likes watching his wife get fucked? What are you talking about? Cuck is not it's just like, it's so crazy to be like,
well, that's the thing. Like I said, man, the super left are so into, it's got to be a trans middle-aged young, it's all the bullshit they want. But then the super far right, I couldn't come up with a good example there, sorry, but maybe they're right. Maybe I am unfunny,
oh boy, don't you dare.
No, but then the super far right is like, if you're not saying offensive stuff, you're too scared and you're woke. And it's like, no, there's a middle ground here, which is, to me, and I came to this thing last night, which is, I like offending people because it's making them, I don't like saying offensive stuff. I like offending people by making them think different ways. Like, that's what Louis and Patrice were very good at, right? They wouldn't just say the N-word. They would say the N-word in a joke that made you go, man, that makes sense. And you're offended because you're like, no one should be saying the N-word. But then Louis is like, no, here's when you should be. And it's like, whoa, that to me is great offensive material when it's layered and you understand, like, there's thinking behind this, not just throw out, hey, Jews steal, or coming in a gorilla costume and saying I'm a basketball player. Like, that's first level shit, right? Like, get me close to getting away with it. Anthony.
Yeah. I think exactly what you're saying. Like, you can do it. You just have to be thoughtful. And I think that's being lost right now. Is the thoughtfulness of it. And you're like, people just, people will take the worst, the elements of it, the catchy elements of it are that these are like buzzy, offensive, dangerous topics. But like, just saying that has no value comedically. But if, if you're thoughtful about it, like, anything can be funny.
If you say pedophile, so the example I would say is that, like, for me, it's like, you go like, what if Superman was a pedophile, right? You go like, he's doing all this really good stuff,
right?
But he's, he's gonna fuck kids, right? Then you just go like, that becomes this moral conundrum, right? So like, that to me is like a joke or something that is layered, whereas some people just go, pedophiles are good. Like, wait, what? It's like, you're just saying pedophile. You're just screaming the N-word. You're just screaming racial slurs without that second layer as to what you're saying. And I like the old Louis type comedy, which was like, get you to believe something, and so many people would rip that off, right? Someone would, those comics that would come on stage and would go, rape is good, and they go, well, hang on, let me tell you why. And then they would go, because women is stupid, and you go, you didn't do it, right? You got they would say, you say a crazy thing and then you justify it, right? That was an old way of doing comedy that I think that people aren't trying to justify anymore. And I just live in that middle. I think we all live in that world of like, which I think is in the middle of like, you can say things, you just have to justify or come up with them more. Yeah,
the justifications aren't interesting enough these days. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Right. But
I feel sort of like, I don't know. I feel sort of like above the fray, not above, but like outside of the fray on that stuff. Cause like, I think for just whatever shit I grew up watching and liked was like just also silly. that my comedy is like mostly silly, you know? So
Right.
like I don't ever really deal with that in my writing where I'm like, oh, am I afraid to say this or not? Because like what hits me as funny is like kind of absurdism and silliness, you know? So
Right.
it's like that never really comes up for me. And you know, maybe that holds me back. I don't know. Maybe you do have to be
I think that's what holds you
edgier.
back. I always say, Emperor, edgy enough.
I'm glad you
And
mentioned it
I go,
finally.
I know. I wish we would really talk about it.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy doesn't do enough rape stories.
All right. Well,
Justified rape stories.
we got to wrap up.
Wait, let me
there.
finish the story. I got to finish the story.
Okay.
Oh, right.
Which is, so just to clarify, so then I'm talking to this guy, I go, I got to go for a walk. As I go for a walk, I get a notification that says, you have a new $15 subscriber to the Patreon.
So this is how we got to
funny.
sell everyone.
Yeah.
Just feel sad. Feel hurt.
Yeah.
He saw what happened. And I will say he was on, I know he's been on the fence about joining the $15 one, but I remember it was like the nudge was him sending me into a legitimate
I love it.
panic, because I went into this and I started like then thinking about my career, and I spiraled really, really bad for the next 2 days. And that would have came either way, but it was the little nudge, and now we got a new $15 subscriber. So I'd like to thank you, Mike, for coming for joining the $15 tier.
That, you know, that's so funny, but that is what I think, like, because as minor as we are, I do think people see our stuff, see our sets, and like say like, well, that is a celebrity, like, even though we're not, you know,
Right.
but like that is a celebrity. So I don't think sometimes it strikes people that like, oh, what you wrote on my TikTok video just fucked me up for 3 days. Like, I don't think you understand, like we read this stuff and like are sensitive people, and it is hurtful, you know, or hurtful, or makes me doubtful, or like because I think they're what they think they're doing is throwing rocks at an impenetrable fortress, you know, but you're throwing rocks at a guy, you know, you're
Right.
throwing rocks at a guy who you probably make more money than. So like they don't.
And I can't go back into a real job at this point.
Yeah, no, there's a 15-year hole in my resume that's
Not to mention video of me just saying outlandish things.
yeah.
There's
Yeah,
no
but-
way.
I do want to add to that though before we go. When you're done, but before we go into a very wrap, I do want to add to what you're saying.
Oh, I was just gonna wrap, so go ahead and add.
So, man, look, I do think that some of them do know. And here's why, right? Like sometimes I'll see people say super woke shit that makes me mad. And I just want to go on to one of my burner accounts and say like, why this isn't funny. This sucks. And I don't, because I think that what I think some of these people do is a lot of people are young, or they're in a different point in their life where the A, are lashing out, or B, they find what they're saying to be important. And 3 is that they have worries about who they are, right? I always notice that, like with myself included, I get mad at like some of the race stuff about white people because it makes me think like, am I a racist? Right? So I think some people just go like, no, I'm not. And the only way to do this is to then punch forward harder. And what I think a lot of these people don't understand is that like, look, I may not be doing the thing you want, but all of these things should exist, right? Like I don't agree with a lot of those types of jokes, but I do like that they exist. Like Luis Gomez is a great example of someone who I think will like just go after someone like a dog, whether or not he believes or not. And when he goes after them, it is something that sometimes I don't agree with it 100%, but those people need to exist. Like you need a few cops that are going to beat people up illegally, right? You just need, like, they can't all be doing that.
I was with you.
Took
You
a
need
turn.
You need
I
a
was
little
jumping
bit.
off board, and now I'm in the ocean.
You need a little. Well, you need a little rape in prison. You need a little. You need people to be afraid to go to jail because they're going to get raped. You need a little bit of comedian. You know, you need a little bit of comedy. So you need that is on that. You need the yin and the yang. You need the left-wing people to call out the right-wing people, and it doesn't need to go. You don't need Joe Rogan level of racist comedy. I'm not saying Joe Rogan is racist. I'm saying you don't need billions of followers racist comedy. And I'm not saying racist comedy, but you do need a little bit of like the guys going super hard.
Too far to balance.
Too
out the
far.
other edge.
Yeah, and you need it on the other side too. And I think both need to exist. And I think that we are people who kind of exist in the media, in the middle. And I think that the middle is very hard to promote because it's not clickbaity, right? You
Right.
can't, no one's being like, here's a medium opinion on the royal family.
Right.
But I swear to God, it's funny. You know, like,
Right.
so I don't know. Does that make sense or does it just I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean the point makes sense. A lot of the analogies in there.
Yeah, you might want to ask the guy in prison who gets raped.
Yeah. I don't know
whether
if
or not he
beating
thinks
up
it's
the
necessary.
cop. There was a lot of stuff
Yeah,
that wasn't
yeah.
exactly demonstrative of your point, but I
But
do
I get
think
what you're
your-
saying.
I get
Well,
your
when you-
point, and
yeah.
I do agree with your point.
When you have a guy who walks up to a cop and goes, well, I know you can't and you won't hit me, he's going to start doing crazy shit. But if you walk up to a cop and you go, man, this guy might hit me with his baton, you might not say the wild thing. You know what I mean?
Doubling down on this one. Huh?
Yeah, that's weird that you would pick this one to.
Not race related. I mean, I'm saying this as a white guy who's been beat up by cops.
Yeah.
That I hated and for no reason, right?
Yeah.
Knowing that a cop has hit me for no reason makes me afraid of cops more than when I used to walk around knowing my stepdad was a cop and I knew my stepdad would get me out of it, right? So like, you know what I mean? Like I got a PBA card, man. Fuck off, right? Then they hit you in the face and you go, "Oh, I didn't think I thought I was untouchable. I thought I had a medical excuse."
Yeah. Well, that's been the Rad DudeCast. Thank you so much for tuning in. You heard it here first. Well, you've heard it before, but you can feel free to become one of Greg's interns. He's very accessible. You can get at him on his Instagram. You can check out his YouTube channel. Anywhere you can message Greg if you're interested in his internship program / cult.
Try to make the email professional.
Yes,
tell me what you're bringing. Look, everyone's going to get in, but it's way more fun when you write, here's what I can bring to the table, and here's what I like, and here's, woo me a little bit.
I want to say that, as these stimulus checks come out, as Greg mentioned, now is a wonderful time. You can now pay for the year upfront for Patreon. And what a time to do it. That's patreon.com/Rad DudeCast. What a time to do it with this Friday the 19th at 8:00 Eastern Standard Time. We'll be having another one of our now legendary live shows. So join us for that. And then, these Charles Barkley Comedy Cookout merch, sweatshirts, executive producer. You can get a t-shirt, you can get whatever. They cannot stay on the shelves. So I've never known Teespring to sell out of something because I think they make it on demand, but they might sell out of this. So check out teespring.com/stores/Rad DudeCast. And of course, follow us on all platforms at the Rad DudeCast. Anyone have any plugs? I've got some stuff coming up in April, but I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't have anything. So, man, just we're doing that. Let me Brendan explain a little bit. We're doing that live episode, man. Come out.
The live episode is going to be great. And I do like to just add that to follow me on YouTube or so. Look, just send me some ideas on how I can get famous. We're going to get famous by 2022. That's the Greg plan. And look, if I get famous, I'm going to bring Anthony and Brendan with me. All right. So if you're a Brendan guy or an Anthony guy, help me get famous. Put all our energy into just me, because then I'm going to reach down.
That's a good idea, actually. Yeah, that's smart.
Right? You think I'm not going to help you guys when I get famous?
No, I think you would. I don't think I would have cared.
Well, financially famous.
Yeah.
Money loves to be around you.
That's the thing I care about.
Financial fame.
Fame, not for me, but I like to see a bulky checking account.
Brendan, I'm gonna make you famous.
I love
you know
it,
that, right?
Baby. I love it, baby. Doc, I'm along for I'll ride your coattails till kingdom come.
I know. I'm already feeling too much pressure.
Honestly, just want to see you happy.
I'm pretty happy. I just want to have some money so that I can not be stressed.
Yeah, well, that goes along with it, so I understand that.
You know what I mean? But even when I'm stressed, I'm happy. I just want to be able to do this and know that, that I could buy all my interns gold coin. I just want enough money that I could buy all the ridiculous shit that isn't that expensive.
Let me tell you something not to do.
What?
Don't read one article about 5G and then put all the money you have in the world in Qualcomm stock, because fuck me.
Did you lose money on Qualcomm? Qualcomm is a pretty
lose
standard
money.
company.
Yeah, I thought it was. Lost all my money.
Really?
Nah,
Oh,
I put some
boy.
money in Qualcomm. Most of it I put in reasonable mutual funds.
Harumi messaged me with a thing. Oh, sorry. I like to do a little bit after the plug so people don't just send them off.
Yeah.
Harumi messaged me the other day. This is a picture of Harumi he's pulling up. Harumi messaged me the other day and goes, dude, this is like the new thing. I think it's early enough to get in on it. And I didn't understand what it was, but something's new that you can make money on. I'm going to have to call them. Anyway, we'll read those names. Let's read those names.
Make funny on. We got Bradley Monks is a $10 per month guy. Thank you. I'm going to call you Bradley Monks. I'm going to call you Wings because the guy from Monk was also on Wings. So Bradley Wings Monks.
Wait, the guy from Monk was on Wings? The guy from Monk was on Wings?
Yeah. Right?
I used to love Wings. I totally
Tony
forgot
Shalhoub?
about that. Tony Shalhoub?
Yeah, he was on Wings.
I think
I
so.
gotta
Man,
really watch Wings.
I tried to watch Monk.
Yeah, Wings is better.
Yeah. Monk is good. They're just like hour and a half long. Oh, sorry. We're supposed to read names. Sorry.
You can read the names. That's okay.
Go ahead, Greg.
Oh, no, you're next because it goes.
Oh, okay.
So I can see your face second.
Okay. David Stuff, man. They know this guy. They know this guy around the sword fighting community knows this guy is the Holy German.
Oh, and little creme brulee comedian, funny guy. I remember I've talked to him via the line, so I'll call him Creamy Broomy because you're a creamy broom. Creamy broom. Yeah, 2-hour episodes, and then this might be tricky.
Hey,
But-
thank you for your $15 per month patronage. Zero Charisma Studios. That's not what I call you. I call you Zero Dark 30 Charisma Studios because you drew a picture of Osama bin Laden getting killed.
Oh yeah, we got Eric Asmussen, and this guy will he's always saying as Asmussen as you want.
As little Rasmussen. Oh, next up, we got the Maori Dennis Farina, which is very famous for the Maori Dennis effect, which is when you buy 2 left shoes and you walk in a circle for 3 hours. It's known as the Maori Dennis effect.
At $15 per month, we've got Galactify, or as his friends and wife call him, Dennis.
Oh, and we got next up. We got coming in at $10 a month. These are the Doobie Snacks. I saw them get so many investors on Shark Tank they almost had to close the show. Everyone brought their Doobie Snacks, and what these are they're just marijuana joints you eat. They're not edibles. They're actual joints you eat,
Like cigarettes.
Yep, people seem to like them.
Oh, this next guy coming in at the only €5. This guy's coming in at €5, right? Is that the euro symbol?
It is.
Whoa, Russell Stewart, he's a scam
pounds.
artist.
That's
$5 pounds?
Yeah.
That's pounds? I thought pounds were out. I thought it was francs.
They're back.
They're back? I'll tell you what's not. I've never been anywhere near 5 pounds. I'll tell you that. I was a 20-pound baby. Russell Stewart figured out some kind of scam, clearly, where he's managing to send his money through Europe. I'm on to you, Russell. So I'm going to call you on to you, Russell Stewart, because paying €5, where he lives in another country, no one really knows.
Thank you for your $15 per month. Kevin Wilson. Not a lot of people know. He tries to keep it private. Heir to the Wilson basketball fortune. So, Kevin, basketball money, Wilson. Welcome aboard.
Jeff Burns. He used to be Jeff Washington, but then his face was so badly injured in an accident that he had to change his name to Jeff Burns.
Ooh, coming in the middle tier, we got Rebon, which everyone knows is the second LeBron James to be born. He is the second Bond. He's Rebon. He the second LeBron James. God bless you.
$15 a month. We got Corey Matthews, and don't smell his dick because you'll get a nostril full of Topanga, if you know what I mean. Welcome aboard, Corey. Boy meets world. Boy meets Topanga's pussy.
Also, shout out to another one of the Corys.
Yeah.
And then we got Jace at $15 a month there, as they call him. Crazy JC Lacey, don't talk about my weight, Steve, because I'm always 5 pounds over where I want to be.
Shout out to the stonemason Jace. Alex Spachala. This guy was known for spitting on T'Challa. This guy went into Wakanda and he got his name because he spit right on the king in Black Panther. Alex spit on T'Challa, spit on T'Challa.
Thank you for your $15 per month. Kyle Bosser, that's not his real last name. He just often does a lot of, hinky shit at work. He'll show up late and then he'll go, has the boss heard? Well, then it doesn't matter.
Then we got Beggar Amazing coming in at $10 a month. Beggar is very, very funny on Twitter and social media. He seems to really have captured the lost voice of youth that is social media. One thing you gotta know about Beggar is a famous Civil War reenactor, but he does both sides and he ends up fucking a tree by the end of the day. I don't know. I lost the thread.
Yeah. X marks the spot with Mark. He puts an X on his, on his pee hole so that when he pees into a toilet, he can film it and hit rewind, and it looks like the pee goes into his pee hole. For X marks the spot, it's a fun move to do, a rewind.
Yeah. A wonderful move to do, and that leads me right into our $15 per month man, Dave Hill for real. And we also know a comedian, Dave Hill. I don't think it's him. If it is, super funny comedian. If it's not, Dave Hill for real. He goes by Dave the Thrill Hill for real. Dill pickles. I love him.
Nice. $10 a month. We got Peter, and what you should know about Peter is he texts me twice a month to let me know what's going on in the ham factory, and that's not a joke. That's real.
Shout out to all the Greg's Masons.
Shout out to everyone who has my phone number.
Mike, just standard Mike. 15 bananas. God bless you, Mike. We don't know which Mike you are, so I'll just call you Mike Yar, the old pirate. Yar, Mike.
$15 a month. I think Greg knows this fella. Great guy. Mike Hansen, or as I like to call him, what is that Hansen song?
Yeah, that's it.
But how'd it go?
Sean H.
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Same band.
Sean H coming at $10 a month. Sean H. H stands for how you doing. He just goes by Sean H because obviously that becomes a problem where people go, hey, how you doing? What's your name? He goes, Sean, how you doing? And they go, I'm doing all right. What's your last name? And he keeps going, how you doing? And it's an issue, so he's just Sean H.
Weighing in at 175 pounds in a red shirt, glasses, brown hair, 10 fingers, 10 toes, and an ass that just won't quit. We've got Nathaniel Gundy hailing from, I'm going to say Arizona. Nathaniel, get at me. Let me know how close I was with if you really are anywhere near that.
Shout out for a $15 per month man, Austin Staggs. I like anyone that's got a last name that sounds like sort of a member of a British organized crime family, like, oi, Staggs! Oi, Staggs, over here. We're going to go to the dog fighting.
So next up, $15 a month, we got Tyler Carpenter. And everyone always wants to know who Tyler voted for in the last election. Was it Biden? Was it Trump? It was actually for the movie Avatar.
This next Jasu.
Josue. I had a buddy in high school, Josue.
Josue?
Yeah.
I thought Josue was Jose, just said with a little more funk.
No, I had a friend named, this could be wrong, but I did have I played soccer with the Josue, and that was how it was spelled.
Oh, Josue. I see, this was my mistake. Josue, I'm going to call you 2 Days to Josue. That's the book you got to write, and it's going to be, you can make some money off that. 2 Days to Josue, and that's how we live your life.
$15 per month. We've got the love child of the material girl herself, Madonna, and the rebound king, the worm, Dennis Rodman. That's Trevor Rodman, the offspring of two greats, and that's why I call him Offspring, the band.
Nice. Did we read? Yeah. Well, we also have Scott Peterson, but he told us not to tell anybody he was following.
The great murderer.
The Rad DudeCast is hosted by Anthony DeVito, Brendan Eyre, and Greg Stone. Original music by Brian Zippert. Produced by Mike Suarez. Executive producers Brendan Eyre, Greg Stone, and Anthony DeVito. Executive producers Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly for the Laugh Button Podcasts.